Welcome, everybody. My name is Patrick. I run the marketing department here at Art Storefronts, and to give you the quick agenda on what we're going to do today. We're going to give you a brief tour of the software, the bells and whistles. The reason it'll be brief is because we do a it's Monday, I can't even talk, a demo process. When you request one, then you get like someone from our outreach team to walk you through all the bells and whistles, of which there's like many. So we do the high level here today. Then I'm going to come back and give you a little rant about some things, and then we're going to get into the best part, which is your Q&A. Any questions you have for me, nothing's off bounds or out of bounds or out of line or any of the rest. Really nothing, period. Where are you in your business? What are you struggling on? What's working well? Why do we think Q4 is going to be tremendous? Anything about the software, anything about anything. I'd love to get into all of it. So let's keep it moving. Taylor, go ahead and get started with the presentation, and then I'll see you guys on the other side.
All right, everybody, welcome to today's session. My name's Taylor. I'm on the marketing team at Art Storefronts, one of the people putting together our many resources and consulting and mentoring our members on a regular basis in workshops like these. Today's session is for non-members, so this is a free, wide-open session, and how it's a little bit different than what you get as a member. Our member workshops, which we hold 5 times a week at this point on various topics, are largely tactical, right? So it's giving our members ongoing advice, tweaks to their strategy, checking in with them, seeing how far they've gotten since we last spoke, and making sure their business is always growing. By contrast, today will be largely about what we call unclogging the drain. Before you're even ready for tactical or strategic advice, you need to get the big thing out of the way. And we found through these non-member workshops that most artists and photographers out there have something. They have a big thing in their way. It can be a mindset problem, some kind of self-limiting belief that if you just simply do away with it, the path becomes clear. Or it could be something more practical, like not doing something that you really need to be doing. Whatever it is, we're going to find out about it today and fix it for you. Before we get into all that good stuff, I have 2 segments for you up top here, opening remarks. The first one, stuff you need to know about this workshop, how it works. The second, a little bit of an overview on Art Storefronts, just to get some context, set the stage, who we are and what we do. First up, the need to know information about today's workshop. To get in line to chat with us, right? To get unmuted and start to get some help, you need to use the raise hand button in Zoom. So at the bottom of your Zoom window, you'll see the participants button. You're going to hit that, and that'll open this on the right-hand side, where you'll find the blue raise hand button. You hit that, and that will do it. Raise hand. You'll see up here, your name will show the blue raise hand button. That's the system we use. We go top to bottom, unmuting everyone that has their hand raised and helping them out. So if you have a question up front, you want to talk to us, you can do that right now and get early in line, so you'll be one of the first people to get some help today. If something comes up later and you don't have a question yet, but something comes to mind, you can always do it later in the session too. The second thing you need to know is that we have a page that we call the show notes. And that's where we aggregate all of the links to resources that come up today. So if one of us says we have a really good video about that, or we say we actually have a podcast episode that would help you out, you don't need to be hunting around for that in the moment. We're doing that for you. We're collecting it all. Here's what the page looks like. We're going to send this to you after today's session ends. We're going to email it to you. So you'll find the replay at the top. Right, so if you have to leave early or you arrived late, or even if you missed it altogether, you can always catch up with the replay here. And then this is the show notes section I was talking about. All the links will be there, everything that came up. So you'll have that. Don't worry about looking anything up. In the moment, we're taking care of it. I should also mention on this page while you're here, there are a couple of request a demo buttons. Those are your go-to spots for either signing up if you just want to get going, or reaching out to us, having a more in-depth chat about our features and our pricing and stuff like that. That's how you start those conversations. If you just want to do your research and get to know us, see if there's a good fit, you hit the request a demo button, you fill out the form, and we'll get in touch. That's how you do that. Okay, second segment today, what even is Art Storefronts, okay? So here is the very quick overview. And like I said, the demo is where they go in depth. They'll do an hour for you. They'll answer as many questions as you have. But today, I don't know how many people here already know everything about us, nothing about us. So I'll just go right down the middle and do a very quick overview. There are two halves to art storefronts. There is the website software, right? So that is the art selling website. And then there's the marketing program, and that is really the fuel for that website engine. The website could be fantastic. We believe it's the best website software for artists ever designed. We really believe that, and I'll show you why in a moment. However, all of the power of that website is meaningless if there's no one on it. So the marketing program is what completes the whole membership. I'll show you both halves now, starting with the website. There are hundreds of features. It is very difficult to give you a full overview of everything that's going on with this software. So I think I will just show you what's really most important, right? The product page. At the end of the day, everything on your website is designed around getting people here to the product page where then they can check out and buy your artwork. So what is the big deal with these product pages? To explain that, let's just clarify that I'm showing you an artwork product page today. That's the important one. We also have what we call standard product pages, and that's where you can sell anything. If you have ceramics, jewelry, clothing, you can sell all of those product types on art storefronts. It does not need to be solely wall art. But I want to show you the wall art product page because there's an important thing to get straight here. These pages are set up specifically to sell wall art. That's in contrast to a website provider like Squarespace that has to have their product pages work for all product types, whether you're selling artwork or toilet paper or electric scooters, right? It works for everything, which creates a master of none situation when it comes to their features. They have not considered artwork in particular, so they have not addressed the problems, the challenges with selling artwork online like we have. The big deal with selling artwork online is that there is a lot of friction. It is not a product like toilet paper or electric scooters where you want what it does and you find the one that you like and you buy it. It's a little more complicated than that. Buying art is an emotional journey. You fall in love with the work. You get to know the artist through their emails and their social media posts. You save up for it. Eventually you get the wall space open, but even then you have questions like which piece should I select and how is it going to look with my wall paint color? How's it going to work with the other pieces of artwork in my collection? Will my spouse like it? How do I show it to them in the best way? What are the media types available? I've never heard of this word acrylic. Is that worth looking into? What size is going to work for my space? I don't want it to look too small or of course too big. All of these questions are where you lose sales. People have those questions. Your website does not answer them and they never get it answered. They leave. You cannot rely on people reaching out to you actively to ask these questions, right? Your website needs to passively answer them for you all the time. Whenever that question comes up, whichever one it is, your website comes in and says, oh, here you go. Got the help for you right here. Problem solved. Keep going. Keep making the purchase, right? That is what maximizes art sales. Let's start by just looking at the layout of the page. Image on the left, buying options on the right. Not below, not somewhere down the page you need to scroll to find. Everything is visible on one screen and it's all expanded. There's not drop downs. Everything is image based. This is like the express lane to checking out artwork online. Beyond that, you can offer every version of an image side by side. The open edition prints are right here. With one click, you can start shopping the limited edition prints, signed and numbered, highest quality, that sort of thing. With another click, you're over to the original version of that image. If the original is available, you could step up and buy it right here. Finally, the multi-panel. This is where you break up a single image into 3 prints, right? So it's a huge upsell. You turn one print sale into 3, very sleek and modern presentation. I love that one. If you don't offer one of these media types, like you're a photographer, so you don't have originals, you wouldn't have this tab on your website. This is just showing all the possible options, but you'll set it up to whatever you actually offer. So if you don't have limited editions, it's gone. It's not on your actual site. It adapts to what you actually sell. Within these, let's look at the open edition prints. Now, the big challenge there is explaining the media types. The average art consumer does not know terms like canvas gallery wrap, G-clay print, metal, acrylic. They don't know what these look like. They don't know what they are. So it becomes difficult to make a smart decision until they do. So the website's job is to educate them very quickly and visually. So here's how we've done that. When you click on one of the media types, the preview over on the left-hand side adapts in a subtle way. So this adds a little bit of virtual depth to this image because we selected the canvas option. That clues people in, oh, this is that traditional thick gallery look. Beyond that, maybe they don't know what metal is, you can hover on these tooltips here, the little question marks, and then you can launch a video. These are custom videos we've produced just for our members that show every angle of these media types and summarize the benefits. They're about 15 seconds long, and they instantly create that connection of, oh, that is what I want. Very powerful. Beyond those buying tools, you have the visualization tools. This is for questions like, I love the piece, I know I want it on metal, I'm just not sure if it's really gonna look good in my space, or how large I should buy. That's where the visualization tools come in. Wall preview is the starter there. You can select a room type, and you can get going very quickly, a good representation of what size you need, right? So let's step it up, the 30, that looks good. The 32 looks even better, right? You're stepping it in. We've got wall color here. These aren't random. These are the top selling paint colors from last year from Benjamin Moore, Sherwin-Williams. So there's a high likelihood your buyers will actually find their real wall color right in here. Very simple, very fast. So this helps clear up some of those questions, but we take it to the next level with live room preview. You can see the button here and also on the product page right here, live preview AR. This is an augmented reality tool that allows people to use their mobile or tablet device to visualize the artwork on their actual wall, not a virtual space, not a hypothetical wall, their actual wall space. So you can see in this video here, it projects it onto their wall. They can start to select the sizing and see how everything looks. They can move it around the wall space, and now there is no translation problem, right? It is not close to their wall color or whatever. It is their real actual space. The most powerful part of this feature, because other websites have this type of functionality via an app. Ours works in the web browser. There is no downloading and installing an app. They're right in the checkout process. They pop open this tool. It works on their phone. They close the tool once they're happy, and they continue checking out. That is the game-changing part of it. So overall, I think that does a good job of summarizing a few of the features of the product page here, but that is your drop in the bucket overview. It goes on and on. Art Buyer AI recognizes and informs you when a likely collector has visited your site. We have tools that allow you to fire off very quick emails to welcome personally new subscribers, to reach out when someone has added something to their cart but not checked out, right? Give you a shot to close that sale. The features really go on and on, QR codes, selling sheets. I couldn't possibly summarize it today. Request a demo if you want to see a little bit more. But that is the engine, the Ferrari in your driveway. Let's talk about the fuel that goes in it, the marketing program. Of course, when it comes to artists, you guys do not want to be marketing. I understand that completely. You want to be creating the work and selling it. That's it. But the in-between step is very necessary, and it is marketing. So let's talk about how we make that process as painless as possible while still getting you doing the work that you must do to grow a small business. The centerpiece to our marketing program, where it all comes back to, is the art marketing calendar. That is the core piece. Everything else just supports this. The marketing calendar is a daily plan that tells you exactly what to do every single day of the year. It provides you with all the email language you'll need to pull off sales, a Black Friday sale, something like that. And it gives you the advice that you need to turn your casual followers into leads. That's people on your email list. Your leads into first-time buyers, and your buyers into lifelong repeat collectors. We walk you through it on a daily basis. It is not overwhelming. It is not a knowledge base where you need to watch 55 videos and then just implement what they said. All you need to do is look at today. We're on Wednesday. What do they say to do? I have 3 tasks to complete. It should take me about 30 minutes. Let's do it. 3 tasks. 1, 2, 3, knocked it out. You have done what you need to do for your business today. It's that simple. let's look at what this thing is. So up top, attention newbies. This is a section with 4 steps we want our new members to complete before they get down to the full calendar. Some highlights here. We have a workshop every Wednesday where our marketing team will look at your new Art Storefronts website, go through the major pages, and make sure that it's set up according to best practices from a marketing point of view, right? So before you even launch, you make sure you're going to be closing every possible sale. We also have a campaign, a 14-day campaign that we want all new members to execute. It's just like the calendar. It tells you what to do day by day. Post this message on Facebook and post this message on Instagram and send this email. Very simple to follow. And that campaign is themed around celebrating your new website in a way that will generate you some leads and maybe some sales too right up top. So we ask everyone to do that before getting into the calendar with everyone else. Below the newbie section, we have the live workshop schedule that has your look at what's coming up this week, when you can join us in Zoom in our members-only workshops. We have some announcements that go here. We have a strategic overview, step 3. This section is written by our CEO and our director of marketing, and in it, they give you their advice, what they would do if they were running your business this month, where your head should be at, right? So the calendar below is your daily bit-by-bit look. This section is the high-level overview, what you should be thinking about your major goals for the month. And then you have the calendar itself. You can see it's day by day. We have a bit of hierarchy here where we put the most important tasks in red and everything else in black. Nothing goes on here that's not important to do, right? So the black tasks are not unimportant. It's just that if you have very limited time, you have family obligations, a part or full-time job, and you can't get to the entire calendar, no problem. Do the red stuff first, and then if you have extra time, do the black tasks. Most people have no problem completing 75% or more of the calendar, though. It's not a huge obligation because we do so much of the work up front for you in terms of writing the subject lines you should be sending and giving you lots of examples whenever anything needs to be created. It's day by day. You've got the major task of the day, and then you've got Go to Tasks, a button that jumps you down the page to the full explanation of the day. It'll give you an objective for the day and then break down what you need to be doing into tasks. 1, 2, 3, do these things. Very easy to follow. Everything else, like I said, supports this system. So our workshops in general are supporting our members as they're following this calendar. You check in with us, you say, I did the Saturday, Sunday task, and I got these results. What can I do to boost them even further? Or I see next week I need to be doing this, but I don't have my head around it fully yet. Can you talk to me a little bit more about it? All that sort of stuff. We make sure our members are moving together through the calendar all at the same time. When we do something new, right? So we've recently started doing these live art shows. We have a playbook on how to execute a live art show from home. And our members are having some huge successes with this, selling dozens of pieces from home on Instagram or Facebook Live. That is an example of something where after everyone does this together, we have hundreds, maybe even 1,000 people running these live shows simultaneously. Then the following week, we have 6 or 7 or 8 of the people that had the most success with that strategy come on a live workshop for our members and just talk through what they did. We hear out, how did they address it specifically? Was there anything that was a little different than anyone else? How did they see that success? That way all of the members can hear what's working from the other members, and then we go ahead and update all of our playbooks with the new learnings. So there is nothing in this program that is static, that is a dead blog post style article from 6 years ago that may or may not be relevant today. We are updating these things on a weekly basis, checking in with our members. If enough people report that this part didn't work for them, it didn't really seem to do anything, it gets pulled out, right? We are live adjusting all of our resources so that when you join in, you get the learnings of the past several years just baked into everything. So I've talked a lot about how our members interact with us, get mentorship and consulting from us via the workshops, but we also have a venue for them to get help from each other when they need to talk shop or just get input from a whole bunch of artists really quick on a topic like, how do you address shipping? How do you go about some kind of tax situation? All that sort of stuff. The Small Wins Facebook group is the place for that. It's private, just for our members, and that is where they go to ask for help, share their small wins, as we call it, all the little successes that stack up into a successful business. Does anyone know how to patent or copyright a design? Get some help from our members on that. So this is the place to go when you need to quickly poll a huge group of people that have gotten further than you, right? That already have gotten where you want to go and have the learnings, the quick learnings that they can summarize for you. Between all of these resources that all fall back on the calendar, you have a marketing system that keeps you in line, that keeps you moving, that does not simply present you with 1,000 hours of content and asks you to explore it at your own pace, figure out for yourself which things you should be following and which things you should ignore. This is about the calendar. It's about cutting out all the time you waste thinking about what you should and shouldn't be doing. That is the time saver here, the big game changer. You no longer need to think about all the possible things. We've already done that. We've highlighted what you should be doing, the best return on your time. All right, that is my rant. I was going to say short rant. I know it wasn't short, but it's very difficult to compress everything we have going on into a format like this. So thanks for listening. Again, the website is your engine. The marketing program is the fuel for that engine. So with that said, let's get into the consulting. I think we're all on the same page now, so let's do that drain unclogging I talked about in the beginning. I'll turn it over to our hosts.
Thanks, Taylor. That was actually pre-recorded, but I always just say thanks, Taylor, because it sounds more convincing. All right, so that's the quick kick the tires of sort of what we do. Big picture, yes. Website, yes. The marketing stuff. Really, our big, hairy, audacious goal at Art Storefronts is to solve the starving artist problem. And yes, photographers are artists. That's a nomenclature thing that we get all the time. And really kind of what we've arrived at through iteration and testing and talking to our own customers is the subtitle to solving the starving artist problem is to put artists and photographers on a path to a six-figure a year plus business. And that sounds like a big goal. There's some of you guys that have not even sold anything yet, and you're like, what? 6 figures plus? Are you out of your mind? What percentage of our customers are on that? Is it most of them? No, absolutely not. It's not most of them, but it is a good number. And we do feel like the path is the same regardless. And we kind of arrived at, there's 5 pillars that underpin getting on the path towards a business of this size, okay? And the first one is what we call unclog the drain. Before the other 4 pillars even have a chance to go through, we've got to unclog your drain. And what do I mean by that? For whatever reason, artists and photographers seem to have this nonsense stuck in the drain. The analogy is stuck in the drain, and until you pull it out, none of the other 4 pillars can go through. You can't get started on taking any substantive actions on your business. What are the pillars? Procrastination is a large one, endemic in this community, let's just be honest. Perfectionism, I'll just get launched when my website's perfect, when I have this design all looking the way that I want it, when I have my 30 pieces ready to go. The thought that exists out there some magical website where you're just going to upload your images and not have to do any work or any marketing, and it's going to sell and you're going to have a huge business. Doesn't exist. Or the fact that there's some high net worth email list of art buyers and collectors out there, and if you can just find that list and get on it, everything will be gravy. People get hung up on whether or not art even sells online. It does. People get hung up on, I don't know what my niche is. I've got 2 different styles or 3 different styles, and I don't know which one to launch with. Or, again, I'll get started when I've got, these 30 pieces done. There's all of this nonsense that gets stuck in the drain that prevents people from taking any forward steps on their marketing. We're going to get into the other 4 pillars. We're going to get into a bunch of Q&A on this call, and what's going to end up happening across the board is that people are going to have the nonsense stuck in the drain. I've done, I don't even know how many of these sessions. I talked to like 350 artists and photographers Q&A on a week in, week out basis. Do that long enough, pattern recognition becomes real, and you just see these same trends again and again and again. So that's pillar number 1, is unclog the drain. Pillar number 2, understanding the business model. It is very succinctly DTC or die. What is DTC? Direct to consumer. You cannot be in a situation, and boys, COVID underscored this, where you're not selling direct to your customer, where you are not owning all of the data, where you don't have the ability to market to your customer in perpetuity going forward. And when you're selling at a gallery, you don't get that. When you're selling at an online gallery, you don't get that. When you're selling at shows and fairs, you do get that, but there's better ways to sell, and especially in the COVID world that we're living in now with those things not opening back up. So you need to be selling direct to consumers. You need to be cultivating and building up collectors. Weiland's got a famous book that we love. It's called Don't Be a Starving Artist. Weiland's like the whale painter and mural guy. And an average collector for him will buy between 6 and 9 pieces over their lifetime. And we see that across the board with our customers. Really, you're cultivating buyers, but you're cultivating collectors, because you get collectors, they're with you for years and years and years. Over that period of time, your prices keep going up and they stay with you and they keep buying. So that's number 2. Number 3, the secret to effective marketing. This one's my favorite. It's taken my entire career to learn this. There is no damn secret to effective marketing, okay? There never has been. It's 2 things. 1, focusing what time, energy, effort, treasure you have to put in to your marketing on the highest ROI activities, okay? ROI, return on investment. And this is critically important. How do I know what those are? A couple of things. 1, I'm very good at marketing. I've been doing it a long time. My fingernails are in the dirt, okay? I'm not reading from some guru or reading tweets or taking courses. I'm doing it day in and day out. 2, I've got 4,400 customers on this platform, okay? I look at all their data. The ones that are selling particularly well, I really look at their data. I find out what's working and what's not. And focusing on the high ROI marketing activities, which we instruct you to do, tell you what to do, is just as much about that as it is ignoring all the rest of the nonsense. The shiny objects that come in, the this service, the that service. Should I be on TikTok? How much should I invest in my SEO? 0. Should I be spending a ton of time on Pinterest? I have never seen a single solitary artist or photographer in over 6 years of doing this that has ever turned Pinterest into any reliable source of income or sales. So no, don't waste your time on Pinterest. And so we're able to make judgment calls like that other people, other organizations just can't make, because I have the data, I know. And then the second secret is doing so consistently, okay? No one ever sticks to their marketing consistently. Everyone, anything like this sound familiar? This is going to be your year. You're fired up. You've got your art. You're going to do great. You get going in earnest and you're really grinding hard on your marketing, and you even stay at it for 3 months. You're doing great for 3 months, and then you don't feel like you got the results and you quit. And then no marketing happens, no marketing happens, no marketing happens. Maybe you get fired up again at the end of the year. I see that time and time and time again. No one sticks at it consistently. The momentum is so important. So that's a secret to effective marketing. It's the high ROI activities doing so consistently. Number 4, we like to call the inputs. This is a huge one. And it's sort of a combo pillar, right? Like, part of the concept is you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time around. And you know, I'm not suggesting you change who you spend the time around. We all have family and friends and everything else. But artists are just filled and bombarded with these inputs that tell them things like, don't ever discount your work, or art doesn't sell online, or this is a terrible art market right now, when in reality it's the biggest art market we've ever seen. So there's all of these nonsensical things that, for whatever reason, artists and photographers continue to get in their minds. We'll address some of it today. We'll hear about it a bunch today. You know, and when you think about your inputs, another great way to think about it is like, turn off all news right now for the next 2 weeks. Everything, print, TV, all of it, and see whether or not you feel better about yourself. See whether or not you feel better about your neighbors. You might actually love the country, love other people, want to go outside and hang out. Like, you know, the news is the perfect sort of example of it. Like, it's just constant negativity just bombarded in there. And if you've got people telling you that stuff, you're not going to work consistently on your marketing, and you're not going to be taking forward steps. So that's it. And the final one is perspective. I always quote Steve Jobs on this, which is, he says, it takes 3 to 5 years to build anything of value. And this is a really hard one to swallow for a lot of people, and it sucks because you've been at this for 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 years, right? You've cut your teeth. You're awesome at what you do. You've honed your craft, and you were selling really well offline, and all of that is gone now. Sadly, you're starting fresh again, because the internet doesn't care how old you are. Internet doesn't care how good you are. You have to build up your own following, your own attention, and it takes time. So when you have the perspective of how long it's going to take you to build a substantive, to put you on the path to a 6-figure-a-year business, you're not getting antsy the first couple hours into the drive, right? Like, I use the driving analogy. Like, if you're driving from coast to coast versus driving from LA to San Diego, on the drive from LA to San Diego, because in your mind you're doing a 3-hour drive or 2-hour drive, you start getting nervous and antsy at the end of the drive. You start saying, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Fidgeting in your chair. When you're driving from California to New York, you're not even worried about it when you hit Wyoming or Iowa or whatever route you're taking, because you have so much further to go. So those are the 5 pillars that we believe underpin, get you on the path. That's what we're trying to do. It's kind of our raison d'etre, if you will. So I see some questions happening already, some hands up, so I'm going to get into those right away. You can certainly ask questions in the chat. Either me or the team will answer those, and then also we'll deal with the questions that are on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube that come in as well. And if you want to be on video, you can be on video. If you don't want to be on video, I get it. I hate video. Yeah, Mary's laughing. She knows I say that all the time. It's true. You can just answer via audio. It doesn't matter to me. But no off limits questions. Love to hear where you are in your business, what you think you're struggling with. If you've got questions about niche, if you've got questions about selling with live video, live art shows, flash sales, Facebook ads, we're taking all comers. So love to have them. Okay, John Tyson, you're up first. Go ahead, John. And you might need to unmute.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I got a question about. I do my artwork on different mediums, like sometimes on metal and wood, vinyl, a lot of different things. My problem is being able to get the artwork to be ready for print. Do you have a best method for that?
Yep, we sure do.
I mean, I tried to get it scanned, but most places won't scan them.
Yep, don't worry about that. It's really interesting, actually. This is like one of the cool things that happens from the community. So one, Taylor said something about the show notes. If you guys didn't notice, we're going to end up putting a bunch of links in the chat as we go. Don't feel like you need to bookmark them or anything because they're all going to be emailed to you after the fact. But we have some guy who made his bones, and I can't remember what his name is. I love this guy. But for 20 years, he was a photographer that just did art reproduction, meaning you bring your art to him, he photographs it, and gets it ready for reproduction. He wrote like a massive, comprehensive article on this subject, on how to start with your iPhone, going all the way down to submission, doing it with your own SLR, how to handle the lighting, all the various different conditions. April's going to put that link in the show notes. All you have to do is read it, find out which one of those you want to engage in, and that'll take care of it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's a good topic, and he's like one of these guys that like, he's a nerd about it, right? Like I'm a nerd about marketing. Like it's super in depth. It's a good article. It's a really good article. So that's what I would say. Check that out. Was that it, John? Those are your questions?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Laura Donovan, you are up next. Go ahead, Laura.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can.
Hey, all right.
Way to work it out.
I have been wondering about, joining you guys on my own. And then I was thinking about this little gallery that I belong to, whose owner has been asking me for help, developing their own online presence. So do you ever work with a gallery?
Yeah, we've got a ton of galleries that are on, and some of them are huge. Actually, some of them are our biggest customers. So you can do the gallery plan, and I saw Laura's question on email, so I sort of have some context on this. But the issue with a gallery, and yes, you can do a gallery. Yes, you can have your own site. Yes, you can do any combination, in between. Is it works great for a gallery, but all the same problems are there, right? So what do I mean by that? You go to a gallery because, let's just say the physical version, because they're going to facilitate sales for you, right? And so you're reliant upon them to do the sales, to do the marketing. So if you're the one running that gallery, they're going to rely on you to do the sales, to do the marketing. So there has to be someone in that role to do that, to drive that, right? And if there is someone that's willing to do that and is going to go down the path and do the marketing and do everything else, then awesome. But for you personally, if you're like, well, I would be in this gallery and then I would also have my own site, I still recommend you have your own site, because what ends up happening in the gallery model always is one artist takes off and at the expense of all the others, because that one gets all the marketing, gets all the focus, gets all the energy, and the other artists that aren't perhaps selling as well or are not the squeaky wheel don't get the grease, right? So it can work. You could potentially benefit from both, but not at the expense of building your own business, building your own customer list, right? That's what I would say.
Okay.
But you certainly can.
All right. And then I have another question related to, I think it was John just prior. Now I have paintings that are usually pretty large, about 36 by 36.
Okay.
So I would still have to have those professionally scanned, wouldn't I? In order to get a high quality digital print for.
Ideally, yes. And here's where I'm going to get into marketer mode. This is one of these self-limiting clog the drain up beliefs. What I would do personally is shoot them all with my iPhone, get them all online. Do not worry about getting any of them printed. Get an order. Once the order comes in, you have validation that piece is going to sell. You contact that person. Hey, Laura, Patrick, thank you so much for buying it. I just wanted to let you know I am going to get this thing rephotographed so that the corresponding print is of a much greater quality and detail. Would you be willing to wait a couple of weeks for me to get that done? It'll be no extra cost to you. They will always say yes. Then go get the photographer, then go get it professionally photographed, and then go. Like everybody gets hung up on those details. The hardest thing to do is sell a piece. Everything that happens afterwards, pretty easy in hindsight. They're pretty easy in big picture. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Great. Okay, you answered my question. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, Tony Ivory, you are up next, and then I see the ones in the chat. I'll get going on those too. Tony, go ahead.
Hey, I was just going to comment on the last two people. I'm actually a photographer and an artist, and we've had several artists come into our studio to have their artwork photographed high quality to sell on platforms like this. So it works very, very well, and it's easy, and it shouldn't be too expensive. If people want to charge you an arm and a leg,
quote prices, would you? I think that'd be helpful. Like, what do you normally charge?
We usually charge maybe, like, I know it sounds like not a lot of money, but like $50 to $100.
There you go, per piece.
They come in, we light it, we have the studio, photograph it, and give them a high res, because it's not our art. We're not selling our art. We're photographing their artwork. So if like we were photographing, we photograph portraits and things like that, yeah, we charge a lot more for that. But for artists and fellow artists, we understand that, it may not sell. This is if they want to come in $50, get one shot of their nice high res image, go for it. But if they want to charge you a couple $100, I know it's regional. This is probably all over the country. I'm in Tallahassee, Florida. It shouldn't cost you that much to have something high res photographed. And even cell phones nowadays have almost the same chip as the professional cameras out there. So you could do it yourself if you light it correctly.
Totally can. And also too, why I underscore, like, sell it first and then worry about it. Like, you don't let it prevent you from trying to get validation that your work will sell. And many people they stress on it, they harp on it. Oh, I'll do a couple more pieces and then I'll find somebody. Like, no, try and sell it. If you can sell it, it's a very easy problem, right? Like, right there, $100, send it to Tony.
Thanks.
Yeah, no worries. Oh, so you don't have any questions, Tony?
No, I just wanted to add that in there. Just as a photographer, I know that it can be done very easily and it shouldn't be too expensive.
Awesome. Love that. Thank you, Tony. Thanks for helping out there. So a couple of questions about, one, if I get an Art Storefront's website, how do people find me? Two, if you have an existing website that already gets a fair amount of traffic, would I run that in unison in the Art Storefront site? So two questions, I'll deal with both. One, how do you get traffic? We teach you. We teach you year in, year out, all year long. Like, the reason that we do these Zoom sessions is they're sort of a taste of what our customers get. The reason that we charge what we do is because ultimately we want photographers and artists to be successful. Selfishly, it turns out, which is kind of awesome, the better our customers do, the better our business does. And so we have a vested interest in making sure you do well. So we teach you how to market your website all year long. And we teach you via sessions just like these. We have probably like 5 different ones a week, depending on the level that you're at. And we teach you the latest and greatest marketing thing. You're in there with a group of your peers, you're asking questions, you go out and do the thing. The next week we'll talk about the wins, who won, who didn't, what did you do right, rinse and repeat. And we do that year in, year out for the life of the time that you remember, because that's how you create successful customers. Now, for those that have a website that gets decent traffic, the short answer, the succinct answer is you can do anything you like. You can replace that site that you have with your Art Storefront site. The traffic that you used to be getting, if you handle your redirects correctly, you don't need to get into the nerdy stuff, will flow into your new site. That would be ideal because our site's going to convert more sales than yours is. But if you're married to it, or let's say you're like a commercial photographer and you've got a commercial photography business and you don't want to mess with that, you can do what's called a bolt-on or a subdomain. So, if your site was, who asked me that question? Ben Myers. If your site was benmyers.com, then you could do store.benmyers.com. That's where your Art Storefront site would live. But, the larger question, and I'm just going to unmute you, Ben, as well. You might need to hit the mute thing at the bottom. How is it a pretty portfolio site? Is it part commercial? Like, what is your unique situation?
It's a personal photography site, but we're actually bringing in more photographers just to cover the mediums that we don't do. So we put everything on aluminum, but our main focus is we work with exotic cats, like the one behind me. So we focus on doing exotic cats, cars, and landscapes. So anything we don't shoot, we'll bring in photographers to shoot that.
Got it.
So more of a gallery site than anything.
More of a gallery site. Got it. Yeah. I mean, the reality is that you can do whatever you like, right? The common refrain that we get is, I'm super invested in this website. I love this website. I'm emotionally attached to it. I spent so much on the design and this, that, and the other. And it's like, okay, well, how well is it selling for you? And the response is, well, not a lot, right? So you have to decide, are you attempting to sell art? Because if you're attempting to sell art with it, our site will do better than yours. I already know. Got data. It's quite conclusive. But if the site has some sort of other focus to it, maybe you're blogging on it, or maybe you're have a service component to the business on it, well, then you can keep that for sure, and then just put it on the subdomain, and in the menu just put store, right? And you would go that way. But it all just kind of comes down to what the core competency and the core focus of the business is.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, what other questions? Let's see. Looks like Taylor's answering most of them. One thing I would say that, and I was sort of, Nick and I, the CEO, were ranting on this morning. Q4 is coming, you guys. I think it's going to be the biggest Q4 in the history of mankind. There are so many circumstances that pointing to this being a huge art buying end of the year. I mean, the writing is on the wall like times 1,001. Home decor continues to surge. Art and photography is in that. Everyone's spending more time at home as a result. They're bored of their white walls. Lots of people are moving and relocating out of cities. Millennials are buying houses. No better event for art buying than new houses, new walls, and new spaces. The continued Zoom calls and wanting to get cool backgrounds. I mean, it's basically just across the board, the data on why home decor is exploding. You couple that with the fact that there's no events, there's no sporting events, people are not traveling internationally, you're not going out to dinners, you're not going out to bars. Everyone has more disposable income than they've ever had before. And it's all the offline sources are toast. All the galleries, for the most part, in a bad shape, closing, not anywhere near the foot traffic. All of the fairs and shows all going down, not happening in any great capacity. The fact that this dumpster fire of a COVID situation has essentially taken the technology adoption curve as it pertains to buying things online and sped it up, depending on which guru you listen to, anywhere from 3 to 5 to 6 to 7 years, right? The analogy I gave earlier today was, and it's a good one, is that there is a lot of retail giants, right? Like, let me just say on the ladies' end, let's say a makeup company like Sephora or something, right? Or on the guys' end, let's say like the clothing company like North Face, right? These are these companies that have these big stores, right? Potentially some, but also selling the Macy's and the Nordstroms and all the rest of those, right? People want those products and they need those products. But instead of going into the stores, because no one is going to malls just to go get lunch and walk around and shop. No one's going into the store for any other reason than I need this one thing, I need to buy it, and I need to get out. So what's now happening as a result of speeding up this e-commerce adoption is they're just buying it online. They're buying it online from the exact same brand. They would have gone into Nordstrom's. They don't want to go anywhere near that, take the risk, so they're just buying it online. And it underscores that like habits are changing. You realize like, wait a minute, that's really easy. That's really convenient. And so when you flip it on its head, Sephora is actually really happy about this, okay? North Face is really happy about this. Why? They're not paying any salespeople, okay? They're not paying any advertising costs, okay? They're not having to pay rent if it's their store. All of the income is coming to them. Same with the artist or the photographer, right? You're not going through a gallery. You're not driving somewhere across the state to sit on your feet for 8 hours a day to sit in a booth and pay the booth fees and stay in a crappy hotel. It's all up to you. You keep all of the money. It is the single solitary greatest time for the art of photography industry, given the fact that the whole model is shifting DTC, direct to the consumer, right? So you couple that with the fact that all winner out of this whole COVID pandemic is 100% art and photography sales because they fall within the home decor segment. And we believe that the Q4 to come, Q4, the buying season, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the whole holiday times, is going to be the biggest one the art industry's seen in the last like 10 to 15 years. We've planted our flag on that. We believe so very, very confidently. And there's still time to get a website that can take a credit card and get you in the game. There's still time to start focusing on your marketing. And there's still time to start running live art shows, which we believe is one of the most significant shifts in how art and photography is sold. We could talk about that if you guys like. But I see, Mary, you've got a question. Mary, go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good to see you again, Patrick.
Ditto. Always a pleasure, my dear. What's up?
I had a couple of questions. I have that price list of your pictures and everything, but it doesn't have listings of how much framing is. Like
So
how
the
much.
framing you don't want to touch with a 10-foot pole. And let me explain sort of my rationale on framing. Every framing company and their brother, especially the wealthy ones, have invested millions. It's probably 100 million to try and figure out a solution wherein you can sell frames online and have it work. There is too much variability in frames. It's too personal. It's too expensive. You want to go down to the shop and see it and pick it and everything else. So do we offer frames? Of course we do. It's there. It's a component. It's not a huge part of anyone's business for the most part, aside from like the one artist or photographer that's like, this is my vision. This is the frame that this thing comes on. Your options are this one and nothing else. Then it makes sense. Otherwise, we have it because the finished product is what you're selling, right? You're not selling a photo. You're not selling art. You're selling a framed thing that goes on the wall, right? So you need to have it for visualization purposes. But more often than not, if they're going to buy an expensive piece from you, 500, 1,000, 1,500, and they really want it for a spot, they want a frame that they can actually see, touch, and taste. And so they're going to go down to their local frame shop. This is one of those businesses that by the time it actually does get disrupted and truly move from a retail business to an online business, I'll probably be dead. I don't even know how they'll ever do it, virtual reality or something. But you need to have them to be able to show the finished article, but you don't need to stress about them otherwise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, roughly how much might it cost me for like, say, like a 11 by 14 or something?
Depends on what media type. But for you, you just need to get
plain basic frame.
Yeah, for you just need to get the 5 types, and I might as well grab my stack because it's good for our purposes here. Give me one sec. All right, sorry about that. The green screen makes a couple of these a little wonky, but like in the grand scheme of things, the 2 fine art papers, and again, the green screen makes them a little wonky, are really the only 2 that you even need to show framed in today's day and age, right? Like the canvas, I mean, do you really need a frame for this? Like, no, it's free floating, you just show it like that. The metal, also ready to hang, no frame, good to go. So too with the acrylic, ready to frame, good to go. I mean, ready to hang, no frame needed, good to go. Same with the wood too. So all you need is just to get this baseline of samples so that you can hold them up, talk about them, articulate what's great. It's 3/4 inch maple or whatever it is. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do.
Okay.
And sell the samples. I talk, Mary's been on a couple of these calls, but I talk about this so much. And I'm curious, how many of you guys that are photographers and artists out there in your house right now actually have your work on the 6 best-selling media types? 2 types of paper: photo paper, fine art paper, canvas, acrylic, metal, or wood. Stated another way, if I was a potential buyer and I called you up, Tony or Ben or Mary or Tom and Gail, and said, I'm not sure which media type I want to get. Can you show me the subtle differences and explain them to me? Do you have all those media types right there? Could you pull it up on camera right now? Tony's nodding his head. I'm not getting a lot of other nods though. So the merchandising is so important, and so many artists and photographers out there think they are smarter than the market. Do not make the mistake that you are smarter than the market. Only the market can tell you. We get so many artists that come on board and they're like, I just don't like the way my stuff looks on metal. It's like, oh, really? You don't like the way your stuff looks on metal? Guess what? Metal is the hottest selling medium right now. Do you not want to take an order because somebody wants metal and you don't have it, because you can't show off what acrylic looks like and what's great about acrylic? Like, if you don't have the media types and you can't articulate them, you're not going to be selling them. Stated another way, my favorite analogy, if I hired you to sell knives for me and you had to do the job door to door, would you show up with a picture of the knives, or would you show up with a bag full of the knives? You would show up with a bag full of the knives. Why do none of you guys have all the media types? If you're just selling originals, okay, you've got it. I get that. But otherwise, you have to have the basic media types ordered. And look, it costs to do the small sizes, which, by the way, small sizes, very easy to show off, show the subtle differences on video. The new way to sell art and photography online, for like $150, you can have a smattering of your images on the top 6 different media types. That's it. And yet nobody has it. You're going door to door trying to sell knives with pictures. Like, it doesn't work. It is not as effective as it can be. So I've been banging the drum on this one for a while, but it's a crazy time we're living in. It is a crazy time. And the analogy, and then I'll get back into the hands, is Best way to sell art or photography. Trick question. It's a little hard because the hand's reversed in this Zoom thing. I always have to turn the opposite way. Is in person, face to face. Okay. No one's disputing that. No one will ever dispute that. What is the next best way? Turns out though, we only have 24 hours in a day. We have to sleep, and we're geographically fixed in this world. So you have to have a website. Sells when you sleep, okay? Can take multiple concurrent orders at a time. Does a whole bunch of really cool things. The next best thing is this fusion that we live in now, the in-between, which is direct video selling, face-to-face, like I just did, like I just merchandised my pieces. Total stock image, apologies for that, but it does look nice. Ooh, look at how great it is. Tell me the story of where you were on this beach and how the sunset worked, and you just put down your drink with the fancy umbrella in it, and you gotta have the samples. Okay, you have to have the samples. Somebody's mic is not muted, or maybe I did that. Okay, Steven Rosenberg, you're up next. Go ahead, Steven.
Hi.
Hey.
You can hear me now, right?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, man. I'll give you just a brief rundown of where I'm at. I'm a jeweler.
Okay.
I've been doing it for decades. I live in the Boston area.
Okay.
I've been one of those people that have held out creating a website, though I created a great Facebook website with well over 150 photographs that I took myself through a light box, digital photography, and they're very good photographs and divided into albums.
Okay.
So because of that, with a business card, when I did art shows, which I did about 15 a year, I would give my card with all that information on it and never felt that I needed a regular website because people would contact me through my business card.
Yep.
And I didn't really make many sales that way. A few when I posted where I was going to be at a local show or whatever through friends, just the friends that I had on Facebook, which, was only about 300. And I never really, I was kind of lazy. I never kept a strong email list of all my sales to people who bought from me. I would use Square.
Yep.
I would do my business that way. And I didn't capture enough email lists. Now, to be involved with what you have, would I have to create a website? Would you suggest that? I have someone that can do it for me locally.
Yeah. See, this is like, it breaks my heart, right? Because you, at the top of your game, experienced for days, been at it a long time, right? But you now
over 40 years.
Yeah, and you're now in a position where the rug got completely pulled out from underneath you because you weren't true DTC. You weren't keeping an email list. You weren't building a customer list. You weren't building traffic to your website. And now, despite all your experience and how good you are at what you do, internet, my friend, does not give a damn. Sorry enough. They don't care. You have no attention. You have no traffic. Until you start building that, you're not back in the game. And I'll tell you, I'm sure you're going to be at this for the next 25 years. You need to take that pill. It hurts, I know, and get going on it, right? It's like the analogy really at the end of the day is you had your whole entire portfolio in one stock, right? And that thing tanked. And now you can't make the mistake again, right? You need to go DTC. We live in a world where it's DTC, direct to consumer. You keep all the information. You're able to market to them in perpetuity. If you're not doing that, you don't have to get a whole lot right. You just can't get this one wrong. When you get this one wrong, you're not in control. They pulled the rug on you, right? Let's say you built up that Facebook website. Amazing. It was working great at first. Then people started getting distracted by cat videos and political nonsense and riots. Okay. And then Facebook decided to change the rules, right? You cannot put the future of your business at stake like that ever again. You got to let COVID. You got to let COVID teach you the lesson that you have to.
You're at the mercy with Facebook.
You're at the mercy. Exactly right. There is.
Because they're changing the rules musically now. I'm a musician as well.
All the time.
And I know a lot of musicians, and they're really worried that they can't do these live performances soon, very soon on Facebook. They just say, you can reach us through YouTube.
Yeah. And then YouTube will change the rules, and they're all at war with you, and they don't really care about anything except winning.
So my question is, should I create a website?
Yes, you need to create a website. You need to start marketing on your socials. You need to be building up an email list, and you need to stay at it consistently. 3 to 5 years from now, you'll be in a much better place than you are now.
If I'm still alive.
I think you got quite a bit of time left. Everyone's living longer these days. I mean, I literally had somebody 2 weeks ago that was 94 years old come on this call. He's like, I'm retired. I'm bored. I want to sell my art. He's like, do you think I should build my website? I was like, one, God bless you, sir. You are amazing. Two, I'm going to go ahead and recommend against the website, but I can't do that in your case, Steven. I mean, you got another 20 years of this potentially. And like, look, the amazing thing about it is once you build it up, it is actually technically an asset. You could hand it off to somebody or you can sell it, right? Like the currency in today's day and age is attention. It's why, sadly, the most powerful women in the world are the damn Kardashians, okay? Because they have the attention. They have so many followers and fans that they can decide to launch anything they want. They could take your business, Stephen, to probably $400 million a year in 9 months' time, or maybe even a weekend, because they have all the attention, right? With the attention, you can do anything. No one can pull the rug. Now, again, there's owned attention and there's rented attention, okay? Owned attention, sadly, the only thing that we really own is the email address. The email address, the physical address, or the phone number, right? That cannot be taken away from us. And then there's rented attention. The rented attention is your Facebook following, your Instagram following, your YouTube subscribers. The rules can be changed on those at any point in time, and they always are. It's constantly evolving. They're taking more and more and more away. But that's where the attention is now. If you're a fisherman and your job is to catch fish, you go where the fish are. Where are the fish? They're on the social media platforms, so you need to market there. So you could get started. You can get your jewelry up. You can start working in earnest with your marketing. You know, for years we shunned crafters and sculptors and jewelers, and we sat there and we thought about it. And it's like, why would we do that? First of all, there's no e-commerce platform out there that caters to jewelry or sculpture or crafters. Yes, fine, Etsy, but it's a gallery that truly has software that's built just for that. But it doesn't matter. You still have to do all the same marketing. You need to be taught how to market. You need to gather emails. You need to constantly be gathering more leads. You need to be having sales when the time is appropriate. You need to be marketing all year long. And so, you know, that's the path. You get on it, you start grinding at it, and you build a sizable business. That's what we do. That's what we teach you to do.
Thank you.
Yeah. I know it's not easy, though. I mean, insanely frustrating, right? You're like at the pinnacle of your career, the apex of your career. You should be, taking 3-day weekends and playing golf or doing whatever you like. And then all of a sudden you got some snot-nosed punk like me telling you you have to get going on your marketing. It's like, what? Okay. Allquest asks, can you expand on the buying process that was talked about earlier? If someone orders a print, is that when I place an order with whatever company I use to have it printed and then have it mailed? Okay. So we offer what's called self-fulfillment, okay? And it's what we advise people to do. It's not what you have to do. And the way that it works is you're integrated with this particular print partner. It's Bay Photo on the West Coast. It's a company called Graphic Dimensions on the East Coast. They are both huge, extremely reputable, best media types, best printers, best customer service, all of that. You get an order and you touch literally nothing. When I say nothing, nothing. The order comes in, it gets processed, the printer gets paid, you get paid at the print shop. We've got this deal now where your logo gets slapped on the box, the order gets sent to your customer, you touch nothing at all, absolutely nothing. And they're really, really good with customer service. So in the event that something gets damaged, God forbid, they take care of it. It's not a problem. Usually they'll just send a brand new print right out. And it's one of the most critical things you could possibly have, because there is no ROI in you running over to the printer or printing it yourself or boxing it yourself or shipping it yourself. Yes, you have to do that when you sell originals. I get that. But otherwise, that is all time, energy, and effort that we want to have focused on your marketing, growing the business. So hopefully that answers that question, Allquest. All right, Mary, you're up again. Go ahead.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you said something very interesting that I wasn't aware of. That they can put like a person's own logo on there.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's
amazing, right?
Wonderful. And one other question that I had forgot to ask before, being able to get proofs or something like that, so that I can make sure, not that I feel like there's any problem with the
I get it. You want to see it. Yeah. You would just, what I would do in your case is I would order one, make sure you're happy with it. If you're happy with it, sell that piece, use it to talk about your work and show it off, sell it, and then you're good. And then just do that with each one if you like. But once you get it down, color correction and like coming out wrong in the medium is a very fringe problem for most of our customers. It's not something they worry about.
It's a very what?
Fringe problem. Does not emerge very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because my concern is that I'm actually relatively very new to this side of things.
Yes.
I've done photography on and off for years, but never printed, and had one experience where I did photo shoot for my family, and didn't realize that I had my screen too bright, so all my pictures came out dark.
Yeah.
And so just want to make sure that things are going to look a certain way and everything like that. So do you guys do like just little small proofs or anything?
Yeah. Or... They'll do proofs for you too, all day.
Oh, good. Is that, well, I guess that would be set up in there.
Yeah,
when I
it's
get the
set
site
up in there, and it's extremely inexpensive, so you don't have to worry.
Cool. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, man. All right, Tony, now you got a question. What's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
So going back with what Mary was saying, so you use basically those two big printers are your two main printers?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. We use a printer for our photography called Miller's, and they're great big. They're not as big as the two giants.
Yeah.
But we've been using them for 30 years. But I was going to say to Mary also, let's say the color's a little bit different, not way different. Yeah, get a screen calibrator. That will solve a lot of your issues, and get a test print. But let's say it's a tiny bit more blue or a tiny bit more green, which happens with the printing process. The customer doesn't know that. You could look at it, and you're the pickiest person. I'm the pickiest person when I get my stuff printed.
I love this.
You're your own worst critic.
Yeah.
And we've made hundreds of thousands of prints and things, and I'll get in and go, it's not exactly what I saw, but the customer has no idea.
No idea.
Yeah, they have no idea. You just don't want it to be like, oh wow, this was green and it's blue. Okay, that's a big difference. But yeah, so that was a question. Yes, so use those two big printers, and so with your website, it automatically, like, a customer buys a 24 by 36 metal print of whatever it is. And so it automatically goes to whichever printer on
you're
whichever
integrated
coast
with. Yep.
Gets, and you can put your logo on it. It ships directly to the customer.
Exactly. You touch nothing, and you spend that.
That's awesome.
And you spend
That's
that time
awesome.
marketing. I would also say, Tony, that have you ever printed on any breathing color stuff?
Any what?
Breathing color stuff.
What's breathing? I don't know what that term
So they're
means.
like a huge canvas and fine art paper, now metal manufacturer.
Yes.
Yeah. So our CEO founded that company and ran that company for 20 years, and then got into this one. So point being, he's got pretty in-depth experience in the whole print world, and it's like that's his baby of any operation inside the company. So best printers, best ink, best customer service, and then the dirty little secret that no one likes to talk about is the shipping rates, it turns out, are not the same for everybody. When you're shipping $30 to $40 million worth of stuff a year, you get insanely good rates. And so the rate savings pass on. And so it really, to be honest with you, it's one of the best parts of this whole entire business is it just democratizes it, right? Like, you can sell work anywhere in the world, and it's not so expensive to ship it anymore. It truly opens you up.
Companies.
Yeah,
for those big companies.
Yeah, it truly opens you up to like the global markets. And I've got a buddy, he's in Quebec in Canada, and on this recent show, I mean, he sold to like 9 different countries. Like, print, ship, boom, done. Like, they understand the shipping's going to be a little more, but it's not exorbitant, and it's just all taken care of. And it's like you're right back to creating and right back to marketing, and that's the game. It's all that matters.
Yep, that's marketing. It's like, with photographers, we've listened to a certain a person marketing. We've been in a photography business since 1972. We've been around for
family business.
It's a family business.
Yeah.
So we've seen everything.
Yeah.
And marketing art is
hard
across the board, pretty much the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're photography, painting, whatever it is. You market using emotion, and not like, here's a picture of a duck.
Yes.
Oh, it's a great picture of a duck. Do you like duck hunting? Oh, I love duck hunting. That just sold the print.
Yep.
That sort of thing. No, it's a weird world, but I was getting at the shipping thing. Like, I have a clothing line that I put my artwork on too. I had the company print the shirt, and they shipped it to me just so I can see. I wanted to get a test print and see it, and it looked good. So I shipped it to my customer. Guess where all my profit went? Shipping.
Yep.
Yep.
It's insane.
So to have somebody to be able to just order and ship direct to them, you make so much more profit even off of small things.
Yep. And it all just gears to success. Tony, you might need to come work for us on the side, just to help out on the Zoom calls. Okay, it's gonna go Allison and then Charlie. Catherine asks, in the gold plan, what does the personal print store mean? Good question. So this is like a common misnomer that like we get pigeonholed. Okay, Art Storefronts is a company that like we want you selling prints. Quite frankly, don't give a damn what you sell. Okay, all I care, true north, is that you have a successful business. That's it, right? And it can be any blend of services, digital courses, Zoom calls where you teach people to paint, workshops you run in the outdoors and in national parks and teach long exposure photography, any blend of originals, limited editions, open editions, embellished prints. Like, it's so hard to get anything working in today's day and age that once you do, I want you going all in on it and squeezing it as hard as you can. That being said, we're constantly looking for additional revenue sources that we can potentially add to your business, right? Your small business entrepreneurs. So the personal print store, we have a feature that essentially allows you to act like Costco or Walgreens or whatever to your friends, family, and whoever else. And so it basically is a separate store, and it's stitched to either Bay Photo or Graphic Dimensions. And you can talk to your friends or family and say, oh, you want to get your family photos sorted? Do you want to do it on canvas? Do you want to do it on metal? Here's why I like fine art paper, framed or not framed, because you merchandise, because you have your samples. Good job. I knew I liked you. And then you can take the orders directly, and we give you special pricing, and then you can make some additional revenue that way. So some people are kind of running those businesses and doing them already. If you do, fantastic. If you don't, fantastic. But what we sort of found is that, don't ever assume, makes an ass out of you and me, right? Don't ever assume your friends, your family have any idea what the subtle differences are between media types, right? Nobody knows. And so who ends up being the subject matter expert? Oh, you're an artist, you're a photographer, you must know. Can you tell me? I'm thinking I want this, I want that. And so our customers are, as a result of being who they are constantly having people coming and asking these questions like, hey, Kathie, should I get something printed on metal or canvas? I don't know what the differences are. How long does it last? Which one's going to look the best with my furniture? Can you tell me? So it's like, if you're already there, why send them to Costco or Walgreens or Kodak or, Google or whatever else? Take the order yourself. Might as well make some money on it. So we have some that are doing well with that as a revenue source, but it's another option. Again, I don't care where your success comes from. I just want you to have it. So there you go. There's another arrow in your quiver. All right, Allison Lawrence, you're up. Go ahead, Allison. You probably need to unmute, Allison. I'll tell you when you get it. It's the microphone, bottom left-hand corner. You just click it, and that'll do it. Are you there, Allison? Allison Lawrence in 3, 2, 1. Okay, Allison, if you get it, I'll circle back to you, but you gotta click the microphone to unmute yourself in the bottom left-hand corner. Okay, Charlie, you're up next.
I have a painting original that I need a print done of soon.
Mm-hmm.
How long will it take? Do I have to wait until I've finally got the money paid to you?
No, not at all.
How's that
Not at
gonna
all.
work?
So that same sort of website solution that I just mentioned, April's going to put it in the chat right now. It's called asfprints.com. You can upload the image you have, put in the order. It'll go to, I think that store is routed to Graphic Dimensions, and you can get it right away. And if you need it right away, I would not wait. I'll mute you so I don't have to hear the phone ringing. You can order that, and I would order that right away. Point being, shipping rates are somewhat delayed this year just as a result of COVID. Somewhat. Everyone seems to be backed up a little bit. So if you need it immediately, I would go and put the order in today, get it done. It'll get shipped to you, and then you can deliver it. Or if you want to put in their address, you can get it shipped directly to them if you already have an order on it. An option anyway. You can just as easily use whoever you have locally too, but we do have that service available as well. I had to mute you because of the phone, so you can unmute again. You got it.
Yeah. So when I speak to Reed,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll give me because I've been asking about your bank details,
Right.
because it doesn't seem to be anywhere on there to just click on it and
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
pay.
So yeah, do you not have a credit card? We don't really take wire transfers because it's people don't
Right,
say
I
like,
remember you said that.
yeah. Do you just
But I
use the
mean,
credit card, pay off your credit card, or use an
on my
ATM card
phone.
too? What's that?
My phone, you mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
All right. And
yeah,
he'll give me all the rest of the information.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. He'll take
Because
he'll take it right over the phone.
still haven't had the demo.
Okay. Well, I pinged him. I saw you were lighting me up, so I sent it to Reed, and he saw it, so he'll call you.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Right.
Thanks.
Okay, Allison, giving you another shot. Let's see if you got it. Allison Lawrence, got to click the unmute. Okay, I don't think Allison's got it. Allison, if you want to just type the question in the chat, if you're having audio issues, you can do that. Okay, another question, Mary. Go ahead.
Okay. So sorry for
No,
all
it's all
the
right.
questions.
It's all right. It's all right. It's what we're here for.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You said something I thought was really fascinating. So you can have kind of like a little private second store, so to speak, for
Yes.
like friends and family.
Yep. Yep.
So it's something that the main public won't see, but it's something that you can
Well,
send
no,
them to.
no, it depends. If you want to publicize it and go at it like that, you could totally go at it like that and publicize it to everybody. You can have it be like a focal point of your business or not. All the options are there, but you certainly have the ability, and the pricing's really good. So you know you're competitive, pretty competitive. I haven't looked item by item, and I didn't set it up, but as I understand things, the pricing's extremely competitive, and the media types are significantly better than what you're going to get, like going to Costco or Walgreens or the less. Yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah, it's just another additional revenue source. But it's like anything else. Like you're not going to turn it on and it's just going to be raining dollars. You gotta, you have to drive traffic to it. But yeah, people will come to you. You're the subject matter expert, right? Like, they want to know. So that's what I'd say.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thanks, Mary. Tony's coming back. I feel like this is just like a ping pong match between Tony and Mary.
Sorry.
No, you're all good. You're all good.
I just have a straight up question this time.
Yeah.
The whole I'm brand new to this. My grandma actually sent me the link like yesterday, and I got this invite. I'm like, oh great, this is a cool way. I guess you said there was like a kind of a conference call type thing, like someone calls you and you talk to them. How does that work?
So there's links in the chat, and so if you put in a demo, the larger part is like the software has so many bells and whistles and layers to it that we do the demo process. And so you click the demo request thing, you fill out the information, someone from our outreach team calls. I
think I did that.
Okay,
yeah.
So normally what they do is do you want to set a demo? If so, we schedule it and go through that whole thing, and then you can see all the bells and whistles, and of which there's just like a ton. And I mean, the demo request call left to its own devices could go 3 hours. There's so much stuff in the software. So you really got to see the high level stuff, focus in on what you want, ask the detailed questions, ask all the pricing questions, anything else that that really catches your eye. And we obviously don't do them on these Zoom sessions because it'd be a 3-hour Zoom session. No one's going to hang out that long.
Of course.
Yeah.
I was just wondering what's the next step. So I believe I filled out the demo, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
name, phone number, email, all that stuff. How long should I expect to wait to get a response from?
They're usually pretty quick. If you already put it in, I'll have April just tell sales they got to call Tony.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, I'm not in a huge hurry. I was just wondering.
Yeah, they'll get back to you. Sometimes it gets slammed at the end of the month, but we're only in the middle of the month, so they should be quickish.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right, thanks, Tony. Yep, and I should mention too, we're aware that COVID is on and things are tight and tough, so we are having a summer sale, or I think we extended our summer sale, something like that. But there's really good competitive rates to join and get going. If you are interested in doing that, you can do the demo thing. And again, when you request a demo, our people are really nice. They will not harass you. They will say, what questions do you have before you want to do this hour tour of the software? You can ask any questions you like about anything, all the pricing, all the rest of the stuff. They know all those details. And if the timing's not right for you, or you've got a lot of things going on or whatever, just say, look, don't harass me for like 9 months or ever again, or any combination in between. They don't do that. So they're super, super friendly in that capacity. But any other questions? Anything you can think of? Q4 is coming. Be able to merchandise your prints. Start doing live art shows. The live art shows is the deal. Okay, Mary's asking another one. All right, go ahead, Mary.
I'm sorry.
It's all good.
What is
It's
it,
all
like
good.
100 questions already? Do you guys offer financing?
We don't, and well, I shouldn't say we don't. We like did partner with some financing company, and I think while they have good rates, and I think it's still technically available, I think PayPal Business has a more competitive loan structure right now. But for you, Mary, I would prefer that you didn't do that, and I would prefer that you worked on selling your work and got some income to come in that way and get the validation before you jumped in. I think it's a better route. I think, you know what you got to do, right? You got to just get out of your own way and do it. You got to get your greatest stuff, what you think is going to be your greatest stuff, printed and try to start selling it. Nothing else should get in the way. Just laser focused on that. If it goes well, then you're in a great spot. Then you're ready. But if it doesn't, the market will tell you like, yeah, these images are beautiful. I love you, Mary. You have a really catchy name, but I'm not buying it. And if I'm not buying it, it doesn't mean you're a crappy photographer. It just might mean whatever's on that image they might not like, right? And you don't know until you know. You have to take your products to the market and get it sorted. And it's one of the really, really difficult things about this whole business, and really I would say like entrepreneurship in general, right? In like the Silicon Valley, like lean startup tech world, of which I'm a huge nerd about. There's a common refrain that the VCs, the venture capitalists, the ones that write all the check to the startups say is that what you're looking for is buzzword product market fit. Okay. In the art world, what you're looking for is the market telling you, whoa, this work is really good. I will trade my hard-earned dollars for it to go on my wall. Okay. So to get that product market fit, to get those sales actually in, the refrain is that the entrepreneur always thinks he's further along than he is. And that's like a common thing they keep seeing, like, in the startup world, it's like, oh yeah, we've got product market fit. We're signing up 100 users a month and they're paying $7 a month and they're not canceling. You always think you're further along than you are. And so you really do have to go through that validation step in order to find out well and truly that your art is validated, that the market wants it. And, we have some people that sneak through where they don't have it yet. They don't have it yet. And it's tough, right? Because they get frustrated. So they're like, what's going on? I've been working on my marketing for 6 months and nothing's selling. And it's like, it's really hard for me to say, well, you might not have it, right? Like you can stay at it for another year. And also I've been at this long enough to see 2 of our customers, okay? And I won't name their names, but they're both well over $500,000 worth of art sold now. Were both of them about to hang it up. One was a gal. She was doing art shows on the weekends, and she was in a booth in her hometown, and 8 hours on her feet. She made like $150. She's like, what the hell am I doing with my life? And she pivoted right then and there. She switched from the style that she was doing to a new style, career, rocket ship, almost instantaneously after that. Because what she had, the market didn't want. No one was saying she was a crappy artist. The market didn't want it. Another guy, I can use his name, Bill Stidham, incredible artist, been at it a long time. He was in the exact same boat, painting a particular style. It was not selling. He's like, I was about to quit and go back to construction or whatever he was doing before. And he also pivoted his style, and that was it. Took off. So, you have to get the validation. You can't, it's a cart before the horse situation. And it all comes down to marketing really at the end of the day. Like everybody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. And sometimes you learn really quickly what works or what doesn't work. It might be one style or another style. So you just don't know until you know. So you got to just get to market, Mary. Get to market. All right. Get her done. All right. That would be it. The one thing I would say is that if you're on this call and you're liking what you're listening to, hearing, seeing, highly recommend that you check out the Art Business Mornings. It's a twice a week live show we do. It's actually live on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, where else? Twitter. And it's really good. And we talk about all like the latest and greatest stuff, kind of shoot from the hip style. And the last episode was how to handle trolls online, how to deal with people that tell you your art sucks. Was this done by a kindergartner? It looks like somebody threw a drywall mud on a canvas with a trowel. Okay. The people that are saying that crap online, I've been dealing with my entire life. We have a very good playbook for how to deal with those. I go in detail about flash sales with live video. I go into detail about live art shows. I go into detail about when you're ready for Facebook ads. Most of you are not ready. So it's a really, really good show. Highly recommend you subscribe. You can do it on YouTube. Is probably the easiest. I'll have April put it in the show notes. But Instagram's your jam. You can watch on Instagram or on Facebook. The audio is a little bit better on Facebook, I think, because of the nice mic. But it's good. It's really good. And, I continue to be blown away. We also take take all of the episodes and put them into the Art Marketing Podcast. And you can find that just by searching the Art Marketing Podcast anywhere podcasts are found, and we're on all of them. And I brought this guy up yesterday because it's just sort of mind-boggling, but listening to the podcast, somehow had a show in, you were on, Mary, last week. Ophir, he had a show in Chelsea that he's somehow in New York, that he got into Chelsea. And he's like, dude, I took your advice. I turned my phone on. I said I was going to have a live art show flash sale in the gallery. Sold 8 pieces. Sold 8 pieces just like that from one piece of advice. And I was totally blown away. I was like, God, it just gets me so fired up. But in all honesty, I believe this is the single solitary greatest disruption to ever happen to the art industry. Part COVID, part the fact that you can use a cell phone, sell direct, merchandise your stuff. If you have your samples, Mary Rembrandt, if you have your samples, you can sell direct, and it just represents no middleman, direct to consumer. They get a bond with you. They get to see who you are. They get to figure out if they know, like, and trust you. Learn your weird little peccadillos, right? That's what sells art, and it's just an amazing time. And with Q4 coming, you still have time to get live and get going and capitalize on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, everywhere near there. So that's what I would say. Thanks for joining me on the call. Hope everyone has a wonderful week. We'll send you the show note links after the fact. So if you're short on time, anything we discussed, all of it will be in there. April, make sure to put links to the shows. And definitely, I live my life on Zoom calls and live video chats. I'm doing this 5 to 6 days a week, sometimes 2 times a day. Come say hi, leave me a comment, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, any of them works. Thanks, guys, and have a good day.